Welcome to this training session on configuring and managing Azure storage accounts. Today, we will focus entirely on managing your data using two powerful tools, Azure Storage Explorer and AzCopy. Let's get started. Let us kick off this training by introducing the two primary tools you will use to manage data within Azure storage accounts, Azure Storage Explorer and AzCopy. What are these tools? Azure Storage Explorer is a graphical user interface application, while AzCopy is a robust command line utility. The basics are simple. Storage Explorer provides a visual, intuitive way to browse your data, whereas AzCopy is built for raw speed and scriptability. Why do we need both? Because human administrators need visual tools for ad hoc troubleshooting and quick uploads, while enterprise systems require scriptable, highly resilient tools for massive bulk data migrations. How do you get them? Both are free tools provided by Microsoft that you can download and install locally on your workstation. As a fascinating deep dive, you should know that these two tools are not entirely separate. Under the hood, Azure Storage Explorer actually utilizes the AzCopy engine to perform all of its data transfer operations in the backend, giving you the best of both worlds, graphical ease of use with command line power and resilience. Taking a look at this flowchart, you can easily perceive the relationship between the administrator, the tools, and the Azure platform. At the very top, we have our cloud administrator, who is tasked with moving data. They have two distinct paths they can take. They can branch left to use Azure Storage Explorer, which is our visual GUI tool, highlighted in green. Alternatively, they can branch right and use the AzCopy utility directly via the command line, highlighted in blue. Notice the dotted line pointing from the Storage Explorer to AzCopy. This represents our deep dive concept. The GUI actively uses the AzCopy backend engine to execute its tasks. Both of these tool paths ultimately funnel down into the high-speed data transfer node, which seamlessly and securely moves your files into the final destination at the bottom, the Azure storage account. This architecture ensures consistent performance regardless of how you prefer to interact with your data. Moving to slide 2, let us explore the fundamentals of Azure Storage Explorer. What exactly is it? It is a standalone, cross-platform application developed by Microsoft. The basics are that it runs seamlessly on Windows, macOS, and Linux, meaning your entire engineering team can use the same tool regardless of their preferred operating system. Why should you use it? It provides a unified, graphical interface to manage a massive variety of Azure storage services, including blobs, files, queues, tables, and even Cosmos DB and data lake storage. When should you reach for this tool? It is the ideal choice when you need to perform manual, ad hoc data management tasks, view directory structures, or manipulate individual files visually. For our deep dive, it is critical to understand the permissions model. To operate Azure Storage Explorer effectively, you require two sets of permissions. First, you need management plane permissions via Azure Resource Manager to list the storage accounts. Second, you need data layer permissions via Microsoft Entra ID or access keys to actually read and write the data inside the containers. This diagram maps out the vast capabilities of Azure Storage Explorer. On the left side, we have the core Storage Explorer application. As you follow the solid arrows to the right, you can see the wide array of Azure services it interacts with: blob storage for object data, Azure Files for SMB shares, queue storage for messaging, table storage for NoSQL data, and even advanced data platforms like Cosmos DB and Azure Data Lake Storage. But the most important part of this diagram is at the bottom. The permissions node highlights our deep dive concept. Notice how it branches into two distinct requirements, the management plane and the data layer. If a user complains that they can see a storage account in the tool but cannot open the blob containers, it means they have management plane access but lack the specific data layer role assignments, such as storage blob data contributor. Understanding this duality is crucial for troubleshooting access. Now that we have Storage Explorer installed, let us discuss how to connect it to your environments. What are the connection methods? Storage Explorer offers multiple ways to securely attach to your cloud storage. The basics involve options to connect at the subscription level using your Microsoft Entra ID credentials, or connecting directly to a specific storage account using its name and access key. Why do we have so many options? Because organizations have varying security postures and collaboration needs. You might need to access your own corporate subscription, or you might need to access a partner's storage account where you only have limited access. How do you do this? You simply click the plug icon in the left-hand toolbar to open the connection wizard. Now for a deep dive on security, attaching via a shared access signature, or SAS token, is highly recommended for least privilege access. When you attach a service with a SAS token, you bypass the overarching subscription scope and restrict the user entirely to a specific container or file share, ensuring they cannot browse other sensitive data within the storage account. Let's examine this hierarchy tree to understand the impact of different authentication methods within Storage Explorer. At the top, we have our authentication methods gateway. Branching down, we see 4 distinct paths. The first is connecting via an Azure subscription. As the arrow shows, this relies on role-based access control and grants visibility to all storage accounts you have rights to. The second path uses the account name and key, granting full administrative access, but restricted to a single storage account. The third path is the SAS token. Notice how its arrow leads to restricted access on a specific container or blob, visually demonstrating the principle of least privilege. Finally, the fourth path is the local emulator, which allows developers to test their applications offline without incurring cloud costs. By selecting the correct path, you maintain strict governance over your data. On slide 4, we shift to daily operations, managing data via the GUI. What does this entail? It involves the routine creation, modification, and deletion of folders and files within your storage accounts. The basics are very familiar to anyone who has used a computer. You can upload, download, rename, copy, and delete items using standard visual controls. Why use the GUI for this? Because it provides an effortless, drag-and-drop workflow that reduces the chance of typos when manipulating critical files. How do you execute these commands? You navigate to your target blob container or file share and utilize either the top ribbon buttons or simply right-click an item to open the context menu. Let us transition to a deep dive. Azure Storage Explorer is not just for moving data, it is a security management tool. You can right-click any container or file share to generate a shared access signature on the fly, or even create and manage stored access policies. This allows administrators to rapidly grant time-bound, restricted access to external vendors directly from their desktop without needing to log into the main Azure portal. This diagram illustrates the operational workflow within Azure Storage Explorer once you have selected a resource. On the left, we start at the blob container level. By triggering the right-click context menu, we open up the Manage Data Hub. From this hub, you have immediate access to multiple administrative branches. You can branch up to execute standard file movements like upload and download. You can branch to manage snapshots, allowing you to instantly back up or restore point-in-time states. You can change access tiers, moving data from hot to cool to save costs. Most importantly, highlighted in orange, you can navigate to manage access policies. This security branch empowers you to instantly generate a SAS URI for secure data sharing, perfectly blending data management and security administration into a single, intuitive interface. Now we transition to our second tool. Welcome to the world of AzCopy. What is AzCopy? It is a specialized, lightweight command line utility designed exclusively for transferring data to and from Azure storage. The basics to remember are that AzCopy performs all of its operations asynchronously and can run multiple transfers simultaneously. Why is this tool critical? Because when you are dealing with terabytes or petabytes of data, graphical interfaces can bottleneck. AzCopy is heavily optimized for maximum throughput and massive scale. When should you use it? You deploy AzCopy for large-scale bulk data migrations, scheduled backup scripts, and automated CI/CD pipelines. Here is an essential deep dive. AzCopy is inherently fault-tolerant. If your corporate network drops during a massive upload, AzCopy creates and maintains a detailed local journal file. Once the network is restored, you simply rerun the command, and AzCopy will read the journal, skip the files already uploaded, and resume the transfer exactly where it left off, saving countless hours of rework. Let's break down the mechanics of the AzCopy engine using this flowchart. At the top left, we have our on-premises data, representing terabytes of files waiting to be moved. When the AzCopy command is triggered, data flows into the AzCopy engine. Notice how the engine splits the transfer into multiple concurrent threads: thread 1, thread 2, and thread n, all streaming data into Azure storage simultaneously to saturate your network bandwidth for maximum speed. Now, observe the crucial safety mechanism at the bottom right. As the engine runs, it continuously logs its progress to the local journal file. If a failure occurs, the dashed arrow shows the journal feeding right back into the engine, enabling it to pick up the pieces and resume the job flawlessly. It is speed and safety combined. Before we can move data, we must discuss securing AzCopy connections. What does this mean? It means authenticating your command line session against the Azure platform. The basics are that AzCopy supports multiple robust authentication methods, including Microsoft Entra ID, service principals, managed identities, and SAS tokens. Why do we need so many? Because interactive human users have different security requirements than automated, headless background scripts. How do you authenticate? For a human, you simply type AzCopy login into the terminal, which triggers a secure web-based sign-in prompt. Now, let us do a deep dive into automated pipelines. When you use AzCopy inside an automated script, interactive logins will cause the script to hang. Therefore, the best practice is to authenticate using a service principal. You accomplish this by running AzCopy login -- service principal and passing your unique application ID and tenant ID. This provides a headless, highly secure authentication method that is perfect for nightly cron jobs and automated backup tasks. This diagram contrasts the two primary authentication workflows for AzCopy. On the top path, we see the human administrator. They use the standard AzCopy login command, which routes them to an interactive web prompt for multi-factor authentication. On the bottom path, highlighted in purple, we see the automated script. Because a script cannot click buttons on a web page, it utilizes the service principal flag to silently authenticate against the service principal in the background. Despite taking different paths, both workflows successfully generate a secure Entra ID authentication token, which then converges at the final gateway, unlocking access granted to Azure. This ensures that both humans and machines operate securely. With authentication complete, we can begin executing AzCopy transfers. What is the core command? It is the AzCopy copy command, which is the workhorse of the utility. The basics of the syntax are straightforward. You type AzCopy copy, follow it with your source path, and end with your destination path. Why is this command so powerful? Because it allows you to upload from local to cloud, download from cloud to local, or even copy cloud to cloud between two completely different Azure storage accounts asynchronously. How do you write the command? An example is AzCopy copy c /mydata https /account.blob.core.windows.net/container sastican. Let us deep dive into directory structures. If you point AzCopy at a folder containing hundreds of subfolders, it will not copy the subfolders by default. You must explicitly add the flag --recursive equals true to your command. This incredibly important flag instructs the engine to traverse every single subfolder and file, perfectly replicating your complex on-premises folder hierarchy directly into your Azure Blob container. Looking at this syntax and routing diagram, you can see the sheer versatility of the AzCopy copy command at the top. The command bridges the gap between your local path and your cloud container. The solid arrows between them show the bidirectional nature of the tool. It seamlessly handles both uploads and downloads. Furthermore, it can route traffic directly from one cloud container to a secondary Azure container for incredibly fast cloud-to-cloud async transfers. On the bottom right, we highlight our deep dive parameter. The dotted line connects the command to the recursive flag. Activating this flag wraps around your local path, guaranteeing that deeply nested files and complex folder hierarchies are perfectly replicated during the transfer process. For our final slide, we will tackle advanced synchronization with AzCopy. What is synchronization? Unlike a standard copy that simply moves everything, synchronization compares the source and destination, transferring only the data that has changed. The basics involve using the AzCopy sync command instead of the copy command. Why is this critical? It saves massive amounts of time and bandwidth, making it the perfect tool for incremental daily backups and mirroring disaster recovery environments. How does it work? You point the sync command at your local source folder and your Azure storage destination URI. Now for a critical security deep dive, understanding the delete destination flag. By default, if you delete a file on your local server, AzCopy sync will leave the old copy in Azure. If you want the destination to exactly mirror the source, you must add the -- delete destination flag. You can set this flag to true for automated purging or prompt to have the system ask you before it deletes any files from your cloud storage, providing a vital safety net against accidental data loss. Our final diagram illustrates the intelligent workflow of the AzCopy sync command. Instead of blindly moving files, both the source local server and the destination Azure blob feed their directory states into the central comparison engine. The engine actively identifies the differences, ensuring that we only transfer the delta data to files that are new or updated, saving tremendous bandwidth. At the bottom, highlighted in red to denote caution, is the delete destination flag. When engaged, this powerful parameter reaches directly into the destination and purges orphan files that no longer exist at the source, guaranteeing that your Azure storage is a perfect, identical mirror of your on-premises environment. Thank you for attending this session.
Welcome to quicktechie.com. So just type in quicktechie.com here. Then you can go through the material which is provided by quicktechie. So we have first of all video courses which you can go here and you can find the various video courses across the technologies as well as finance domain. So if you see in Microsoft, we have 8 programs currently running. Next, you can go through the ebooks available. So all the ebooks which are in PDF format today, and you can download this. So let me go through Microsoft certification ebooks. You can click on any of this and you can see this is the PDF available for you to download. So these are the premium ebook mostly available on quicktechie.com platform only. Now the second part is exam simulator. As we primarily focus on the all technology companies and finance domain certification preparation material, so this is company wide listed here and you can go through this. So let me go through the Microsoft one again. You can see this is all Microsoft related certification. AB730 exam, if you open it, so you can see here this, and all the practice papers are available here. Today we have a 5 practice paper. So click on the first practice paper, it would load the questions. You can answer this question. This is way you can answer it and you can move to the next question. Now third material we wanted to highlight is an audiobook. So we started recently with the audiobooks as well, which you can listen on the go, and various technology wise ebooks are available. And at the last, this is our alumni. These people who are subscribing to our courses and this platform, they are all listed here. And at the end, I wanted to tell you, if you find any course or training or certification preparation material which you want to get us prepare for yourself, please put on the comment section. If you're watching on YouTube, on Udemy, or on this platform itself, quicktechie.com, then please put the comment, or you can even send an email to using this contact us options here. You can directly do the WhatsApp message. You can call us on this numbers as well.